Wonderful day. It's starting to get a little chilly here in the Pacific Northwest. We're finally feeling some fall, and it is officially fall, so that's very exciting. I made some banana bread this week since, I don't know, fall, I feel like there's more baking happening, so I made some yummy banana bread with pumpkin pie flavor and chocolate chips in it too. So it's pretty good for fall. But yeah, it's finally starting to feel like the fall season. So that's exciting. Hopefully you've got some fun fall activities planned for the season, including beading, of course, and we are going to have some fun today. This is the perfect cozy fall project because it's simple. It's a fairly simple weave, but you get this beautiful, intricate look. And it's good for altering loom pieces. I know we've been talking about our new comfort loom, so you can use this square stitch, what I'm going to show you today, to add to your loom projects, to connect loom projects. It's a really good one to know for a lot of different things. And I can see some comments coming in. If you're watching at artbeads.com/live, I will be able to see your comments and you'll be able to chat and interact with me live. So Sandra is here. Hello. Artbeads team, Michelle is here. Good morning. Tanya, hello. Gail C, hello. Art Beads team, Thaisa is here. Good morning. Dee Peterson, good afternoon. Kathleen, hello. Sharon in Arizona, not fall in Arizona. No, I'm sure it's still pretty warm there. Mary is here. Denise is here. Kathy, hi. Good to see you all. And Hannah from Iceland, always good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Andrea, hi. So good to see everyone. So yeah, so if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube and want to be able to chat live, definitely head over to artbeads.com/live. You'll be able to comment and I'll be able to see it. You can send little hearts as well. And best of all, you'll be able to easily shop while you watch. So you'll see the products that I'm talking about appear on the screen. You can click those, hit those, add them to your cart. You can also hit the little shopping bag icon that you see on the screen and see everything and more that we're going to be talking about today. So it's a lot of fun. If you're not already over here, head on over to artbeads.com/live. And good morning from Massachusetts. So good. Delry, hello. So good to see everyone. Thank you guys so much for saying hi and joining me. Oh no, Sharon, you have a cold. I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon. And beading is the best medicine, I think. So we have got something fun in store for you. So yeah, so we're going to be doing square stitch today. It's a bead weaving method, but I thought it would be a good one to show since we have the new comfort loom that Julie showed last week. Knowing the square stitch is a great way to alter your loom pieces. So let's say you create this beautiful loom piece, you get it off the loom, and it's like 2 or 3 rows short. You can use the square stitch to lengthen the piece. Or let's say you want to make something longer than the length you have on your loom, like a belt or a hat band. You can use the square stitch to connect shorter pieces of loom work. So it's a really good stitch to know for loom alterations, and it's just a fun stitch in general if you're wanting to make smaller bead weaving projects. So it's a really fun one, and I'm going to show you how to do it today with TOHO Aiko seed beads. I've got some really pretty fall colors for you guys today, and on top of all that, Denise, that's the stitch I'm almost good at. Need more practice. Yes, practice, practice, practice. Good, Sharon. I'm glad your plan is to bead. Beading is the best medicine. And on top of all of that fun, it is our fall cyber sale right now. So store-wide, everything is up to 55% off. So we've got some great savings on the seed beads I have today, the thread I have today, the needles, the scissors, all of it. So very exciting. And if you're an Art Beads Rewards member, you will get double points when you shop during our fall cyber sale. So that's exciting as well. And on top of all of that, we also have our deal of the week. We've got so many great deals going on. So for our deal of the week this week, we have those top drilled round beads. And if you buy 5 strands of those, you'll get the 6th strand free. These are beautiful beads that work perfectly in simple stringing and bead weaving creations. So they're a really good type of bead to have on hand to add a little bit of character and dimension to your designs designs. And right now during our deal of the week, you can get some great prices on them. And I believe there are some in the cart if you're watching at artbeads.com/live. So you can easily shop some of those pretty top drilled cushion rounds right now from this show. And if you buy 5 strands, you will get the 6th free. So very exciting. So let's dive into this wonderful, fun square stitch. Julie A, hi from Wisconsin. Good to see you. I'm going to flip the camera and we are going to dive in. Oh, Denise, about that. I hope you feel better soon. All right, and then let's adjust our lighting. Adjust our camera. There we go. All right, so this is what the square stitch looks like. So you can see that it's very similar to loom work. You're just bead weaving instead of looming. So I am working with TOHO Aiko seed beads in a few different colors. And if you're watching at artbeads.com/live, we've added extra colors to the cart because you truly can never have too many seed beads, never enough. I love having all the colors I can get my hands on. But today, the colors that I'm working with are number 1702. And a good thing to know about TOHO colors, their color codes are universal. So you can see, like, even we have our label for our warehouse, and then you've got the 1702 on the normal packaging. That is the TOHO color code. So if this is a color you like in the Aikos, you can just pop in that color code and you'll find it in different sizes if it's available, different sizes and shapes of seed beads if it's available. So that's a good little note. So I'm using 1702 color code, and then I'm using color code 522, which is this beautiful galvanized rosy brown, which it's almost like a bronzy coppery color. Happy Thursday, Denise and Deanna. Hello. Good to see you. Denise, I love getting every color too. You can never have enough. And then we're also using Aiko color 722, which is a metallic gold aurora. This is a beautiful color. Let me pick up some of these beads because they're really beautiful. They're not just like a traditional gold. They are that lovely warm gold color, but there are like little hints of kind of like a copper color in there. So it's really a nice effect, especially if you're making like fall themed jewelry. So really, really pretty gold color there. So nice. Yeah. If you are like, gotta get all the Aiko colors, right now is a really good time to do it because we've got our fall cyber sale going on. I have also got my tulip beading needle. I like working with size 11 and size 12. Tulip beading needles are truly the best. You cannot go wrong with those. And then I have TOHO 1G thread in this lovely orange color, perfect for fall. Again, I think it looks really nice with the colors that I'm stitching with here today. And I have my trusty tulip scissors. They're so pretty. I use these all the time, especially when I'm bead weaving. They're great for cutting thread. When I'm sewing, these are right next to me. I take them with me everywhere. I use them everywhere for everything. They're so good for cutting threads close to your projects, and they're just really nice. Really nice scissors. Again, great quality because they're tulip. We love them, and I love this cute little pattern on them. So fancy and nice. I love cute little scissors. So I'm going to cut some thread here. I'm going to show you how to start the square stitch, and it's really, really easy. Look at these colors up close, by the way. They're so pretty. I love this green so much. It's got that like, just that subtle hint, that gleam of gold. Oh my goodness, that's so pretty. Love it. All right, so I'm going to add my threading hints. Yeah, so I have gotten very good at threading my needle because I do it a lot. Cutting the thread at a little bit of an angle helps. I like to hold my thread as close to the end as possible and kind of push my needle down over it instead of like the opposite, like trying to push the thread through the needle. I like to push the needle on the thread, and that helps a lot. And I just noticed I was doing that kind of off camera, so let's show again. So you push the needle over the thread rather than push the thread through the needle, and that helps. So I hold the end of my thread as close to the end as possible, And then I take my needle and push it down over the top of that thread. And I find that works a lot better. Wow, you were good at it. I've done it a lot. I've perfected my technique. Again, someone said practice, practice. Practice really is what helps. That's the answer to that one. So keep doing it and you will get good. Tulip does make a nice little threader tool that can help you. And that's nice too. All right, so let's see. So to start this stitch is very simple. You're just going to string on that first row in the pattern you want. And I've got this lovely like stripy pattern of 2 of that bronzy color, 2 of the gold color, and then 2 of the green color in the center. And then we make a mirror image of that pattern with 2 gold. And then 2 more of that bronzy color. And it's a nice little pattern there. Very nice. Yes, to shop this show, if you're watching at artbeads.com/live, all you have to do is click on the shopping bag icon, find what you love, hit buy now, and it will appear in your cart and you'll stay in the live show while you shop. Brian from the Art Beads team is here helping out too. So thank you so much, Brian. And we have added more Aiko seed beads than just the ones I'm using today because you can never have enough. I like to leave a nice tail on my thread, at least 6 inches, so you can weave that back into your piece. And we are ready to start the square stitch. So the square stitch is super easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the next bead for our next row, and our rows are fairly simple. It's just matching the color beneath it. So I've picked up a bronzy bead, and I'm going to loop back around through that first bead in the previous row. There we go. And it's sitting right on top of that bead from the previous row. And then we're going to loop around, back up through that top bead. And there we go. So this will be a little squirrely too, because we're just getting started. So now we're ready to add the next bead in the row, and we're going to do that exactly the same. So our next bead is that bronzy color. We're going to pick up a bronzy bead. We're going to go around through that second bronzy bead in the previous row. Like so. And now you can see that that kind of shaped things up a lot better. So our thread is coming out of that second bead in the bottom row. We want to loop back around to through that bead we just added. Just like that. There we go. So that helps shape things up a lot. So we're going to do that again and again, matching the color below the bead we're working on. So the next bead is gold. We've picked up a gold bead, and I'm going to loop around through that gold bead in the previous row. And there we go. And then we want to come back up through the bead we just added. That helps the shape and helps position your thread to add the next bead in the row. There we go. We're ready to add the next bead. I'm going to pick up a gold bead because that's the next color we're working with. I'm going to loop around through that gold bead, that next gold bead over in the previous row, and pull tight. And then I'm going to come back up through the bead we just added to help the shape and position our needle so that it's ready to add the next bead in the row. And this is the square stitch that we're doing. So the square stitch differs from the brick stitch a little bit. The brick stitch is staggered. So when you add beads, you're adding beads to the thread bridge coming out of the top of beads in the previous row. With the square stitch, you're adding directly above the last bead in the previous row. And the orientation is a little bit different too. So the next bead over is green, so I've picked up a green. So I'm looping back around through the green in the previous row. And then I'm coming back up through the bead I just added. So for each bead you add, you kind of go in a loop or a square. You're making little squares with your thread and your beads, which is why it's called the square stitch. So we're going to do that again. Yeah, I love this stitch too because it's super easy, and this is a great one to do like while you're watching TV or chatting with your friends, because it's very like you can totally zen out and just go. So I was doing this one a little bit while watching the new Outlander show, Blood of My Blood. It's like a prequel of Outlander. So good. And these are like kind of like Scottish Highlands colors too. So maybe that influenced my choice. But it is a little bit like herringbone for sure. Herringbone is similar, but the beads, again, the beads are oriented a little different. Like in herringbone, the beads kind of end up like this, like in a V almost. But yeah, herringbone is a fun one too. I like herringbone a lot. And then we're going to pick up another bead, go down through the corresponding bead in the previous row to loop that on, and then come back through the bead we just added. Lovely stitch, very relaxing indeed. Yeah, this one, so relaxing and easy. And I see my last bronze bead fell off the tail of my thread, but we can easily put that back on. There we go. Okay, we've got just 2 more in this row. There we go. So you can see, because the orientation is the same as loomed work, it makes it easy to use the square stitch to add a few rows to your loomed piece if you need extra, just a little bit of extra length, and to connect loomed pieces if you are making something longer than your loom space allows, like a belt or a hat band. So you can use the square stitch to connect those loomed pieces together. So it's a really good stitch to know, even just for weaving or for altering your loomed pieces. So there we go. We've got 2 rows of square stitch. Adding another row is super easy. You just do the same thing. We are above this bronzy bead, so I'm going to add a bronzy bead. And some people will flip their work so they're oriented the same direction. I'm not usually a work flipper. Are you guys flippers? I usually just keep it the way it is. Add that, and then come through the next bead. And this is where the shape is a lot easier to deal with, because you've got those 2 foundational rows already stitched together. So they're looking good. So I've picked up a bronze bead to match the one below it. I'm going down through that second bead over in the previous row. We're gonna pull tight to loop that up. And I like, with the square stitch, I like just setting my thread between the 2 beads in the working row and then doing that. I don't know why I do that. I just like it. It's satisfying to me. I don't think you have to, but it's fun. I'm picking up a gold bead to match the gold bead below. I flip depend on what I'm stitching. Yeah, sometimes it depends really on what you're working on. Since this is a like symmetrical pattern, it doesn't really affect me too much. And then we will go down. Another gold. So you can see how you can get really quick and fast with this, especially if you're doing a pattern like this where the beads in the row that you're working on match the previous row. You don't even really have to think about what beads you're picking up, because it all just kind of, the last row informs what you're going to do in this row. So you can really just start stitching, and it's a super easy stitch. There's no like step ups or anything like that. It's like the same technique over and over. You're just looping for each bead that you add. And then after this row, I'll just show you how you can connect pieces, since we have this one here. Picked up my green bead. There we go. make sure that this one isn't wanting to line up like its friends. There we go. There we go. I love these colors so much. They're so pretty. So we've added the 2 green in the center, and then we're going to add a gold. We're going to loop around. Yep, and we have our fall cyber sale going on, up to 55% off store-wide. So you will save on all of the supplies to start this technique, including all of the beads that I'm using here, and the thread and the scissors and the needle. It's a really good time to stock up if you're thinking of adding more colors to your collection or getting the things you need to start a new technique. A site-wide sale is a good time to do it. There we go. So this is such a fun little stitch, and it goes by fairly fast for a bead weaving stitch. I know that bead weaving stitches often take time, but this is one of the faster ones, I think. Let's make sure we've got our thread going the correct way. Yeah, we do. Perfect. This stitch seems very tedious to me. I agree. Looming would be faster and easier. So this does definitely take a lot more time than looming, but it's great for altering loom pieces too. So let's say you've just loomed an entire bracelet. So you're like, yes, this is beautiful. You take it off the loom. You're ready to like check the fit, and it's like 2 rows short. You don't want to set up the loom all over again just to add 2 rows. You can use something like the square stitch for this. Or let's say you just want to do like a few rows of this for earrings and then come to a point. I wouldn't want to set up my loom for something like that, so I would do square stitch. And then again, like I said earlier, it's great for connecting loom pieces, which I will show you how to do right now, actually. So loom pieces, when you're working on a loom, you've only got so much room to work with because the loom allows for bracelet sizes easy, right? But let's say you want to make a belt or just like, I don't know, a huge wall tapestry or something like that. Something that's longer than the width of your loom allows. You can use the square stitch to connect pieces, and it's really easy to do with the square stitch. So let's say these are 2 different loomed pieces that I want to connect. All you have to do is use the same technique as the square stitch. So I want to connect these. I'm going to bring my thread through, loop it through just like I would the square stitch. Come back through that bottom bead and then go back through here. Pass through the next bead. There we go. Loop around through the previous row like that. Come back through that top bead and then skip over to the gold bead and then loop around. And so they line up perfectly because square stitch and loom work is very similar. So it's a great way to connect pieces, loomed pieces. So yeah, absolutely. Loom away. That'll save you time in the long run. But if you just need to add a few rows to your loom piece or connect pieces for a really long one, this is the way to go. Square stitch is the way to go. Or if you're just making cutie little earrings and you're only making like just a few rows, the square stitch is great for something like that. Over to the next. Over to the next. And then there we go. So it's super easy. So it does take a little bit more time than looming, but it's a great technique to know in your looming journey. For sure. And again, make sure to check out Julie Bean's live video that she did last week. You can catch up on all her live videos. They're available for replay on the artbeads.com/live page. She showed how to set up and use our new comfort loom. And you guys loved that loom. We did sell through all of the looms we have available, but it is available for pre-order. If you missed the initial drop, we have more coming, so you can pre-order it and reserve your loom now. So that's really nice that we have that option available. There we go, going through, looping around. And there we go. We're almost done with connecting these two pieces together. There we go. And there we go. So that's how you connect loomed or square stitch pieces really easily. This would be a lovely ring. I think I'm going to turn this into a ring because that would be super pretty. Really beautiful bracelet too. I think that would be just nice with some nice ribbon ends. And then to finish the threads, you would do that as you would for any bead weaving project. Just take your thread, weave it back through the body of the project, and loop around a few times. And this is a tighter weave, like something like brick stitch or peyote stitch. So you can get away with just looping around. I don't think you need to knot the thread anywhere. Just loop around, because when you loop your thread through a bunch of times, what's happening is you've got thread already woven in there. When you loop around over and over, you're catching those threads in each pass through. So that's creating a really tight weave, a really secure weave. And you can feel it too when you're working. So like I'm passing through these threads and I can feel that the space is getting tighter. It's catching on to threads that have already passed through. So I can feel that this is getting really secure already. There we go. And then we'll pass through again. And the beauty with square stitch is, let's say you've connected two loom pieces. It's nice and long, but you need it just a little bit longer for your hat band. Use the square stitch, add a row or two. It's a really easy stitch to customize and just keep going with. So I've woven that in a lot. I can feel it getting really secure. You can just cut that. And then I want to cut that a little bit closer so we don't have that little tail poking out. There we go. And then do that for all of your remaining threads. So that's the square stitch. It's really easy. Yay! Yeah, Jeanette, I do a lot of peyote and brick stitch, but not much square stitch. This was a nice reminder of its uses. It's just a really functional stitch, I think. Not everybody always goes I'm going to make a square stitch bracelet. I think because looming exists, but it's a really good one to know. In addition, look at how pretty those beads are. Oh my goodness. Really good one to know in addition to your looming repertoire, because it can really help you customize those looming projects even more and get you doing more things with the loom. So really beautiful. I vote ring. Yeah, this is going to be gorgeous as a ring, and we don't have very many more rows to go now that we've connected those two pieces. So I just gotta do that. Oh darn, I'll have to watch more Blood of My Blood. So pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? Really lovely. So we will continue that and make it a ring, and it's going to be so pretty for fall. And the beauty of these beautiful TOHO Aiko seed beads is the packs they come in are so generous. I'm not even going to touch all of the beads that I have for this. So what I could do is I could finish my ring. I could make matching earrings with the beads I have left over, and they're just, they're so pretty. And if I didn't say it before, TOHO Aiko seed beads are just some of the nicest ones to stitch with. They're so precise and uniform They just line up beautifully when you're working with them. Their nickname is the perfect bead, and it is so true. They're a joy to work with, especially in stitches like square stitch or brick stitch. They just line up like little soldiers in brick stitch. It's wonderful. Yeah, this is going to be a ring for sure. Beautiful. And I did want to also mention that you can do this stitch and you can do loom work with all kinds of different seed beads. 11/0 rounds, 8/0 rounds, cylinder seed beads. It works for any kind of seed bead that you want to try it with. So yeah, really, really beautiful. Super fun, super easy. We love square stitch. This would be a really cute bookmark as well. You know, I love a bookmark. So that's square stitch. Super easy, super approachable. Great little stitch just to know for if you want to make something quick and easy, and if you want to alter your loom pieces, because it does come in handy for adding rows or connecting loom pieces to make one long giant loom piece. So super fun. Love that. Love the square stitch. Don't forget about the square stitch in your seed beading journey. How would you finish? So for this, I think I will make it big enough for a ring, and I would just stitch the ends together. Again, with square stitch. Just make sure it's big enough to slide on, and you don't even have to worry about clasps or anything like this. If you were wanting to do a bracelet, let's say, I would do like a ribbon end. They are usually wide enough to fit something like this, or a tube clasp end works nicely. We have corresponding tube clasp ends that slide right over the ends of your loomed or seed beaded works, and it has a little loop on the other end for adding clasps. You could also stitch a button on right on the end of this, and then stitch a loop on the other end and make a little button clasp. There are all kinds of different ways for making the endings for your bracelets, for your seed bead work. So lots of different options for you. A square stitch bookmark. Yes, I think this would be super cute. Like, okay, this book is right here. It kind of matches the vibe, but look at this. It would just be so cute peeking out at the top of your book. How sweet is that? Super cute. So square stitch bookmark, square stitch ring. I'm going to have to make a whole set, and it feels so nice. Again, the TOHO Aikos feel really, really nice when you're working with them, and they stitch up so nicely, and they're beautiful. Like, look at that shine. Gorgeous. So that's the square stitch. I hope that's helpful. Let me flip the camera and we will say a proper goodbye. Hello. Yeah, so square stitch, super fun, super good to know if you're doing loom work. Again, Julie Bean showed how to use the new Comfort Loom last week in her live video. Check that out if you haven't yet. It's a beautiful way to alter your loom piece. Look at that. So pretty. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're going to finish that as a ring, and it's going to be marvelous. So super great way to finish up your loom work, add rows, or connect loom pieces if that's something you need to do. If you're making a belt or a hat band, that is a great way to do it. The square stitch is something you definitely should know if you're looming, because it helps make your looming journey. This is such a beautiful color. These are such beautiful colors of beads. Oh my gosh, I'm like hypnotizing myself and everyone else. So yes, buy the TOHO Aikos, and they are on sale. They're up to 55% off right now during our fall cyber sale. We've got a lot of different options in the cart too. We added some other options. If you want to know the ones I'm working with, again, I used Aiko 722. I used Aiko 522, and I used Aiko 1702. Those were the colors I worked with today. Love those colors, but we have all kinds of different other colors in the cart. How long will they be on sale for? Our fall cyber sale runs until the 29th, so all through this weekend. So that will be nice. You can shop the sale, and we have double rewards points if you're an Art Beads Rewards member. So don't forget about that. You'll earn double points while shopping during the fall cyber sale. So very exciting. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this was inspiring. I hope it encourages you to do some square stitch, whether you want to make a ring, some earrings, or just go for a bracelet or a bookmark. Who cares? The world is your oyster, your beading oyster. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay tuned tomorrow. Sarah Lovecraft is going to be live. She's got some fun jewelry to share with you. And I will see you next time. Bye.